Hello, my name is Jerry Don Jokoy, and this is a video that I've needed to make. Um, I'm a Gulf War veteran, and I was born in the United States, in Texas. And when the Gulf War started, I decided that I wanted to serve, and I wanted to go in the Army, and for whatever reason that didn't work out. The next was the Marines, and that didn't work out. They sent me to the Navy, and I said, I ain't going to the goddamn Navy. Well, I did, and it was the best thing that ever happened. I loved it. I enjoyed serving. I'm proud that I served. I served 2 years active duty from February 91 until February 93. And I got to be careful with my information, but this is my uh, honorable discharge. I have the papers that matter. My DD 214. And so obviously I went in healthy. And by February 93, when I took my separation physical, I already had asthma. I was diagnosed. I didn't make any complaints or anything, but they diagnosed me with asthma, which obviously in a few months, in a year, I started having very bad attacks, and I still have it to this day. So the VA treats me for it. They've given me breathing machines and inhalers and everything. And so also on my separation physical, I had sinusitis. And those were the things, the first symptoms of Gulf War syndrome were sinusitis, allergies, asthma. And I did this thing right here, Department of Veterans Affairs. This is the September 8th, 2023. It says, dear Mr. Jokoy, we sincerely appreciate your participating in the VA North Texas healthcare system, Dallas Veterans Affairs Medical Center Persian Gulf Registry examination. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this was a thing that I did. I did blood work, tests, x-rays, all these poking and prodding, and to better help Gulf War veterans, those of us with Gulf War syndrome. And it obviously didn't do much because I'm getting 20% disability. I've had strokes. I have osteoporosis, fibromyalgia. Yeah. You know, I don't know how the person could fake MREs or MRIs, but the VA has them for my strokes. And, you know, that you can see the osteoporosis in my hands, especially if I've done something like, you know, work or something that vibrates a machine. I'm a welder. I poured concrete until I just physically couldn't do it anymore. And I started welding in 98. And finally, around 2003, I had to accept that I couldn't work anymore. It was killing me. My feet were bleeding. I was on 10 different medications. So I got disability. The VA is just an organization that shits on veterans. It chews us up and spits us out. Yeah, a few slip through the cracks and get the help, but a lot don't. That's why there's 22 veterans a day killing themselves. And I've lost some very, very good friends that I loved very dearly. One, Lawrence Gerwig, hung himself on a flagpole outside the Dallas VA. God bless you, and till Valhalla, Larry. I'll see you on their side, warrior. But we will be fighting that battle with the weapon of love. Randy Carter hung himself on a piece of construction equipment in Denton, Texas, because they just won't help. You know, they have rehab and detox, but like the rehab, you go in there and detox for a week or so, and they have you convinced you're going to go to the 3-month rehab. Then you detox, and they're like, well, we'll send you out the door, and you come back in 2 weeks, and if you can pass a UA, then you go to the 3-month rehab. I said, you stupid motherfuckers, if I could pass a goddamn or UA in 3 weeks, I wouldn't need the fucking rehab. I left out of there in tears. I tried it again with Larry. I mean, not with Larry. We just showed up within a day or so of each other. We got really close the second time. We hung out for like 3 days after they pushed us out the door and did it to us again. Well, I think around 2001 is when Larry went up there and tried again, and they did this to him, and he said, fuck you. He went out there and fastened a rope around the flagpole in front of the VA early in the morning in the dark and killed himself. 22 veterans a day do this, and I'm not okay with it. I'm not mad at anybody in particular. I forgive every one of you, but shame on you if you're taking a paycheck to sit in a goddamn air-conditioned office and fuck around veterans, fellow veterans, or veterans if you're a civilian. And I've seen this too, where they create strife. This one man, I said, in the VA, we were talking, I said, you ever been to Bonham? He's a black man. He said, I don't go to Bonham. That's a place for white people. And I thought, that's bullshit. I didn't say it to him, but I thought this is bullshit, dude. Nobody's doing that. He's right. And I'm not blaming every person of color. And there's white people that do shitty things. There's black people that do shitty things. It's not a particular color of people. It's a particular stupid mentality that lets people do those things. And there's a lot of people, and I've seen it myself, when I went to file after the what's it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it's something that they put in place to help those of us with Gulf War syndrome or Agent Orange. The something act, the PACT Act, is supposed to help us. If we just show that we were there in the Persian Gulf, then that's all you need to get your disability. Well, damn right I was there. I got letters of appreciation from the captain, and I had my evals. They know I was there. There's no question about me being in the Persian Gulf. I served 6 months. I did everything that my obligation asked of me and then some. I absolutely went above and beyond. There's my letter of appreciation from the captain. And I'm not going to read it because it'll take too long, but I'm really proud of this. You know what? I think I can show this. I have to make sure things don't have my certain numbers and stuff on it. Yeah, I will show it. If you wanted to screenshot this, look at it. So, is there any question that I served in the Persian Gulf? Absolutely not. Well, I'll go and see these. I'm not saying for sure. And the symptoms of Gulf War syndrome, check, everything underlined. I have absolute proof, doctors, pictures, being treated for, everything. The asthma, the allergies, the rashes, on and on and on. The osteoporosis, everything, all of it. So, and I'm not bitter. I have been. I was bitter as hell for many years, watching my friends die, watching people suffer. And the thing is, the VA wants you to watch all these videos, and you have to dress right, do this right. Don't say this, but say this. You can call it that, but you can't call it this. Then you go in there, if you get the right gatekeeper, and then that gatekeeper gives it to the right ass blocker, and that one goes to the right this desk and that desk, then you get all your benefits. But if it goes to the wrong person somewhere, somebody that maybe don't like your color, or maybe they were in the Marines and you're in the Navy, and they're jealous because you served and they didn't do shit, or whatever it is, I don't know, then you don't get it. But this other guy that worked in the office, or gal, worked in the office, never went anywhere, kept the same job for 20, and I've seen it. I'm not bitter at anybody. I don't care which veterans get what, and which, that's whatever. I'm not mad at anybody. But I've seen people that had the same job for 20 years get 100% for something like their leg was supposedly messed up. Great, fine. But I haven't worked in 20 fucking years, you goddamn idiots, and I get 20% service connected. And they say, a country that forgets its veterans will itself be forgotten. And you know what? I already forget you, you son of a bitches, because I see what you do. Why should we go do another man's bidding for something they won't do for themselves and fight another man that we don't even know well enough to hate, and then get fucked around by our own institution that's supposed to help us? As my stepdad said, the VA is a goddamn bureaucratic joke. It is. And it's bullshit. I would highly suggest people don't serve this country because of that. And do I love my country? I love everybody. I'm a human. I love humans. But I don't hate anybody. I have no enemies. If you served Iran, if you served Iraq, if you served Vietnam, if you served Russia, if you served Ukraine, if you served Korea, I love you. You're my brother in arms, my sister in arms, whoever, whatever you serve. I don't have any enemies. But I'll tell you who I disapprove of is the very government that I went and fought for that has forgotten me. And I come back and watch how they treat me. I don't even get to own land in my country. None of you do. We live in a system of feudalism. I don't give a fuck how free they say we are and all this bullshit. We've been bullshitted, with propaganda and indoctrination to believe. How are we the freest people in the world when we don't even own home or lands? Think about it, people. What happens when you stop paying what they call taxes? But this is what the debt lords use to suck us dry forever, as Whitney Webb says, and rightly so. We pay taxes. You stop paying taxes, they will come in and physically remove you from your property. So how is it yours? I haven't figured that out. I'm going to go fight for a country that doesn't even allow me to own home or lands in the country that I was born in? Something to think about. And I want you to think about this. Well, I didn't go into the military to be taken care of all my life. I didn't expect that. I knew I was going to get shitty pay and be in rather uncomfortable environment, or not have a lot of say-so in my life. I did that. I did my obligation. I did it with pride. As in my evals here, it shows that I wore my uniform with pride. I had a cheerful demeanor that was contagious and fostered good morale within the division. I'm proud of those things. I'm very proud of it. I kept my chin up. I laughed. I teased. I joked. I played jokes on. But I always did my job, and nobody ever had to question, is Joe Coy doing what he's supposed to do? Because they knew I would, and they knew I did. I was reliable. I was brave, and I was of good moral character, and I still am. About 10 years ago, I almost died twice. 2 suicide attempts, very, very serious. Both of them very deliberate overdoses. The first one, I had strokes. Again, I've had so many strokes since about 2001, but this was from a deliberate overdose. And I lived, but I had an NDE in the hospital, and in that NDE, I was in 2 different bodies of water. Well, I'm just going to go over part of it. I had like a partial end of life review, but the one part, I was working with extraterrestrials, and we were in a boat, and I was with a man that was in the Army, a human, and I was in the Navy, and we were both, like veterans, not active. And we were using a weapon that I didn't understand. It wasn't a weapon that killed, but it was a very powerful weapon. And it's only recently that I understood that weapon. That weapon is the weapon of love. And that's what I'm learning to use. I believe in self-defense. I'm not going to, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., one of my heroes, he was such a great man. He believed in turning the other cheek. I don't believe in turning the other cheek, but I'm thinking that if I keep doing this good work and trying to do things with love in my heart, that I will get to the point where I'll be as great a man as he. And he didn't hate anybody. He loved even the very men that he had a right to hate. And those were the white men that oppressed and enslaved his people. And then what does he do in the Vietnam War? He speaks out for the poor white that are being used as cannon fodder. And he was right about it. I can't quote it word for word, but he spoke out against the Vietnam where the poor, both white and Negro, and as well Hispanic, all were being used to do the bidding of the rich or the government. And it's just not right. But I respect him, and I'm starting to understand the power and, the power of love. And, if I just do things with You know, when I got out of the Navy, I even served in a local militia unit. I'm proud of that too. I still believe in protecting my neighbors, you know, from whatever, a collapse or anything that was out of control. I'm not going to allow innocent people to be pillaged or raped or anything of that nature. Something that I absolutely believe in. And I made a promise to God when I was 14 that I would never be those people that sit by and watch a woman, a child, an elderly, an animal be abused and do nothing. I've never sat back and done nothing, and I take great pride in that. And I'll always have the courage to do what's right. So, but I think the greatest weapon that I can use is that weapon of love. And, you know, I don't have any respect for people that are serving our government. What they do is they create a problem and they pretend to do something about it. It's nothing but theatrics. It's a goofy ass circus. I don't care about President Trump pretending to get shot in the ear. I don't care about Biden pretending to have Alzheimer's. I don't care about Trump pretending to, you know, stop immigrants from coming across the border. And I don't care about Biden pretending to let them across. It's all nonsense. It's smoke and mirrors and shiny objects. It's complete bullshit. I don't fall for it anymore. I don't need a political party. I'm not going to be part of anything that divides and conquers the people. What I am, I came here to be the light, to shine light on the darkness, and I'm going to do that. And my light shines brightest with love, not with anger, not with bitterness. And I forgive everyone. I love everyone, whether I like you or not. I love you. Even if you're one of the ones that fucked me over in the VA, I don't hate you for it. I still love you. I may not like you, but I love you. And nobody's going to do anything to me because I'm a man of good moral character and courage. And I ask always, now that I'm learning who I am, is this for the highest good of all? And that's the way I do things. Is this for the highest good of all? I'm not saying I do everything like that. I do things that are fun. Me and my dog go camping. We love nature. We do things that are good for, we pick up trash. We try to help our neighbors. When he's in the grocery store with me, I see disabled children and I ask the parents, can my dog see your child? And it warms my heart because he is such a beacon of light. Also, my dog is a being of light. And I'm just going to be right honest. He's a Nordic starseed. I'm a Pleiadian starseed. I didn't even know what a starseed was until about maybe a year and a half ago. I've lived a hard life. I had a hard childhood. I'm not a victim. I understand why now. My father passed away when I was 12. I was adopted, like Jesus. Jesus wasn't born into a virgin. He was a starseed. He came here to shine light on the darkness, to show about the system that's enslaving humanity, and I'm here to do the same purpose. I know this. I had an epiphany. I've been up the last 3 nights. I wake up at 2, and my higher self speaks to me. I see beautiful images, and I have incredible, epic understandings and epiphanies that are just, I have to get up and drink coffee. And then I go back to sleep and take it all in, maybe take a few notes and either poetry or something that's profound that I need to do, like this. This is why I'm doing this. It's something I know. Oh, I have a man, a VSO here locally that I believe really could get me the 100%. I decided I'm not going to do it because I'm not lacking money that makes me happy. Money doesn't bring happiness. Happiness is what we find within. That's how I started awakening and having my divine understanding. My gnosis was looking within. It wasn't being really comfortable. Would it be nice to have $4,000 a month? You bet. It would beat the shit out of $360 a month. But I'm not going to beg those sorry bastards that are doing that to veterans. I don't want their damn money. I have people that help me, neighbors. I get eggs, free range eggs, great chickens, great eggs that nourish my body, and they won't even let me pay for them. And I don't even know the people. They just know that I'm a veteran. God bless you for that. I don't even know their names. But I get this from neighbors, people I don't know, foreigners, immigrants that live in this country. I've had some of the best people, immigrants, people from South America, Mexico, Honduras, Belize, and you name it, everywhere. everywhere. Philippines. Oh, I could go in Africa. Do such great things for me. And I'm very grateful. That's one thing. For my service, the people, I mean, everybody in other countries, in fact, have been so good to me. I love that. That I respect and I appreciate, and I love everyone for it. And but my government has failed miserably. The VA has failed miserably, and I'm not even bitter. I don't hate anybody in the government. I don't hate anybody in the VA. But shame on you for what you do to us. 22 veterans a day kill themselves because you have medical administrators telling doctors how to practice medicine. There's just so much absurd bullshit that goes on in that VA. And I've had enough. I won't go back in that place. I'm not going to beg them for my goddamn benefits. I served my country, and I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to watch videos, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm not going to fake bullshit. I'm not going to pretend I have this or pretend I have that. I have plenty of shit wrong that is related to my Gulf War syndrome and the service in the Gulf War that I'm not going to fucking be fake to get benefits from the VA. Look on here on YouTube. See how many videos it tells you what not to do, what to do when you're going in for your, benefit. I can't even think what those things are called. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not begging you, you sorry son of a bitches, for my benefits that you should already be giving me. I'm not going to do it. I know I could go get this 100%, and I'm not. If anybody wants to help me, I have plenty of food. My dog, we have shelter, and I'm happy. I'm eating good food. And I don't have a car right now, and that's okay. I will get one. And everything I've been through in this life has made me stronger and better. Like I said, I got off the subject, and you have to remember I've had strokes, so forgive me. But as a child, I went through a lot. My dad passed away when I was 12, and I had some less than desirable conditions, but now I understand the larger picture. And I understand the things I went through were something that was arranged before I started this. There's a thing called soul contract. And I understand some of the people that did the hardest things to me, we agreed on this before we ever started this life. And now I've learned to not be bitter, not to be a victim, but to appreciate them because they did the hardest things for me to make me stronger, to make me a warrior, to make me get exactly where I am today. The drug addiction, the injuries, the illness got me to miserable conditions in the street, addicted to heroin and cocaine, and on narcotic pain management for more than 15 years, and in prison. And you know what? Everything I've been through made me who I am, and I'm more than okay with it. I've had people do great things for me, even in prison. There was the guards that were veterans. One guard, her husband was a Gulf War veteran, and I'm not going to say their names, but these people were really good to me. One of them was a black veteran. I can't even remember his name. I remember the white lady that was, her husband was a Gulf War veteran. And I had these people even break rules occasionally. Not that I asked, well, maybe I did. But I didn't ask them like sneak in cigarettes or something like that. I mean, I did illegal shit in there, but, a man needs toilet paper when I was in the hole for 30 days. I was in ag seg. I did that for 30 days, which also was pretty enlightening to spend 30 days in basically a bathroom. But I made the best of that too. I kept a journal and I wrote the same thing every day. Ate breakfast, worked out. Private things a person does in prison when you're alone, especially. Took a nap, ate lunch. I wrote the same thing every day. I kept in good spirits. I drew a AK-47 and an AR-15 in my bunk like a gun rack. I had fun in there. I made the best of it. And I'm not going back. I'm not going to allow anybody to do that to me. And I'm the master of my own destiny. I'm a co-creator, not a beggar. And I know my power and I know who I am. And I'm not in fear of anybody. I'm not in fear of any institution, anybody with a badge or anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not bothering anybody. But again, I'm a man of good moral character and courage. And I'm not afraid of people. I know who I am. And I don't live in fear of anything. So I think that's all. I probably forgot some things, but I did my best. I love you all, and God bless you. And I send my deepest love and respect to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. All those of you that give a shit about each other. Thank you. Let's love each other. Let's all learn to use that weapon of love like one of my heroes, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you. God bless.